seats, but as of now only 26 have logged in. Okay, so I do not know how many are actually there. Maybe even if it is there, I think it must be more than 50. Still we are having 50% attendance. Okay, so anyway, from today I will take the attendance because that makes the people serious about the course. Otherwise, will be. So let me Abhijit Singh, please respond to your thing. Abhijit.
Present, sir.
Okay. Abhishek Yadav. Today is 12th, na? Abhishek Yadav is Adarsh Dubey. Adarsh Dubey. Akash Kunal. These people have changed it. Akshat. Anadi Vyas.
Present, sir.
Anant Prasad.
एक सेकंड वो एक सेकंड
Anant Prasad. Ananya.
Present, sir.
Anil Kumar. Aniruddha Das.
Present, sir.
Ankita. Ankita Gupta. Anvesh. Apan Jain. Apan Jain. Arpit. Arvind. Aryan Saini.
Present, sir.
Okay. Ashutosh Bansal. Ashutosh Kumar. Ashutosh Kumar.
Present, sir.
Present. Ashutosh Yadav. Asta. Asta Jyoti. Bukwala Murtaza. Bukwala Murtaza. Devendra Patel.
Present, sir.
Okay. Devesh Pratap.
Present, sir.
Dhruv Khatri. Dhruv Khatri. Gaurav Pratap.
Present, sir.
Gopi Sethi Satish Kumar.
Present, sir.
Harsh Bhaktani.
Yes, sir.
Harshit Gupta. Hiralal Yadav.
Present, sir.
Okay. Hemant Paliwal.
Present, sir.
Indresh.
Present, sir.
Itisha. Itisha. Jatin Vinod. Jatin Vinod. Jitendra Kumar.
Present, sir.
Juhi. Juhi Agarwal. Kanav Bansal. Kirat.
प्रेजेंट सर
Keshav.
Present, sir.
Kushal. Kushal Dhanadia. Komal. Kumar Sagar.
Present, sir.
Meghul Tyagi.
प्रेजेंट सर
Mohit. Mohit Kumar. Mukul Soni.
Present, sir.
Mukul Soni. Nishant Mittal is not there.
Sir, I am there, Nishant Mittal.
But your name is not in this.
Sir, I joined at 5:05. I think I missed by 1 minute or two.
No, your name is not in that list. That's what I'm telling. The list which I got from the academics office, in that your name is not there.
Sir, I have what systems analysis is added in my CADS ITR.
Maybe they have not yet updated, looks like. Anyway, Nishant Mittal, I will write down.
Yes, sir.
Muskan Dogra. 12. Narendra Kumar. Nishant Mittal is there. Yes, is there. Sorry. Piyush Miglani. Nishant, your name is there. Somehow I missed. Prince Yadav. Purva Dua.
Present, sir. Purva Dua.
Okay. Rahul. Ravichandra. People are not there. Ravichandra. Rishabh.
Present, sir.
Rizul Bansal. Romi Agarwal. Ronak Soni. Malavika. Sahil Yadav. Sanskar Parikh.
Present, sir.
Sarthi Tripathi. Saurabh Singh.
Present, sir.
Saurabh Singh.
Present, sir. Yes.
Okay. Shashi Mujkund. Shubham Bharadwaj.
Present, sir.
Shubham Gupta. Shyam Tiwari.
Present, sir.
Siddharth Mani Tripathi.
Present, sir.
Sumit Vardhan.
Present, sir.
Tarun Trivedi. He's logged in, but he is not responding. That means he would have gone somewhere. Vibhu Chacharya.
Yes, sir.
Yashasvi Budhwar. Yugant Kumar. Also absent. Okay. Harshal, I will give you.
my name, sir.
Harshal Shinde. Gaurav
Yes, sir.
Sir, Gaurav Kasset. Present, sir. Gaurav Kasset.
Gaurav Kasset, the name is, yes, it's there. Gaurav Kasset.
Present, sir.
Okay.
So, Arpit Shrivastava.
Arpit Srivastav. Okay. Arvin.
Yes,
Why are you joining late? It's already 15 minutes.
Sir, I joined at 5-7. My name was just passed back then.
How did you know it just passed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, Apan Jain.
Apan Jain. I think I have lost already 10 minutes in this.
Adarsh Dubey.
Adarsh Dubey. Okay.
Sir Jatin.
Jatin. Okay. Okay, now let us start. Okay. So in the last class, we have just started the discussion of solving a constraint optimization problems where where the constraints involve both inequality constraints. Okay, so the general problem which we can write it as is like this: maximize or minimize. No. Minimize f of x, okay, where x is a vector of decision variables x2, x3, xn, okay, subject to the constraints that we can have three types of constraints. One is greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, or equal to. That means inequality constraints as well as the equality constraints. So we can write the problem as like this: subject to gi of x is less than or equal to 0 for I going from 1 to j. That means there is j number of less than or equal to constraints. Okay, this constraint is itself is a function of the decision variables, and we also have gi of x greater than or equal to 0, I going from j plus 1 to, let us say, k, capital K. Okay, then we will have gi of x equal to 0, I going from k plus 1 to L. Okay, so now how many total number of constraints are there? Total j plus k plus L. Okay, there are j number of less than or equal to constraints, k number of greater than or equal to constraints, and L number of uh, equality constraints. So what we have to do is, first we have to convert these two inequality constraints to equality constraints. How do we do? By adding or subtracting. So we can now replace this by maximize so we can write now this as maximize or minimize f of x subject to gi of x. What should we do here? Hello? To make this equality constraint. Hello?
Square.
So you add some positive quantity, okay, so that this becomes, so that means si square is equals to 0, I going from 1 to j, then gi of x. Here I have to subtract a positive quantity, si square minus si square is equals to 0, I going from j plus 1 to k, and this remains as that, and gi of x is equals to 0, I going from k plus 1 to L. Okay, so this is basically what we did here is, in that by adding the slack variables or by subtracting the surplus variables, we are making this inequality constraint to, so now we form the Lagrangian. Okay, so now what will be the Lagrangian now? this Lagrangian of this will be now be a function of the decision variables x, then what else?
Lambda and SI.
Lambda. Okay, lambda is the Lagrangian multipliers, vector of Lagrangian multipliers, and s. Okay, where s is the vector of the surplus and as well as the slack variables. Okay, so what will be that? What will be the Lagrangian of this? This is f of x minus sigma I is equals to 1 to, hello? How do we form the Lagrangian? Hello?
Sir, from I equal to 1 to J,
Capital J, yes.
GIX plus SI square.
Lambda
Lambda
times
times
I
SI square.
into GI of x plus SI square, isn't it? Then
Sir,
what
another summation I is equal to J minus I, sigma I is equal to J plus 1
J
to
plus
K
1 to K, yes,
lambda
into
GI
GI of x minus
SI square.
SI square. Okay, and what else? Minus sigma
K plus 1 to L.
K plus 1 to L. Okay, lambda I into J of x. Okay, this is my. So how many lambda values will be there in this?
K.
Huh?
L.
L.
Total L lambda values. Yes,
No,
sir.
there will be J number of J for this and K for this, and this one will be so
No,
J
sir.
plus.
For the second one, it will be K minus J. Because summation is from J plus 1 to K.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So total it will be L. Okay.
Yes.
Total it will be L because here I am putting it to J. Actually, this is a notational difference. You are correct. Okay, it will go from J to J plus 1 to K. That means K minus J is the. So total number of multipliers will be L. Okay. What about SIs? So you will have lambda i's which is equals to L. Total number of lambda I. Okay. What about SIs? The slack variable. This will be K, this will be J, this will be K minus J. Okay. This. Okay. So now when so how do we get now the what is that the stationary point for this? What is the necessary condition for a stationary point? How do we get whether the local minima or local maxima? What is the condition? The first derivative with respect to
X lambda minus decision variable.
X lambda and S should be equal to 0. That means, so the necessary condition for maxima or minima is that dou L by dou xi should be going to 0, I is equals to 1 to n. Okay, then dou L by dou lambda I should be equal to 0, I going from 1 to L, isn't it? And
Yes.
dou L by dou Si should also equal to 0. Okay, both for j going from I going from j plus 1 to k, and also I going from, isn't it? Hello, this is capital K. So
Yes, sir.
that means with respect to each of these variables, the xi's, lambdas and si's, the first derivative should be 0. That means by solving these equations we will be getting the, by solving these equations we will get the values of x, lambda and s. Okay, at that point you will have, see, when we differentiate this Lagrangian with respect to SI, okay, you will have a term, okay, SI into lambda I. When I do it, dou L by dou SI, okay, is, let us say, for this one. So you will have, when you differentiate with respect to S, what will happen here? 2 times S, 2 times lambda times, no, just I'm taking a simple term, okay, dou L by dou Si will be lambda I, because this is a constant, we consider it as a constant, and Si square. Okay, so we have added this. Okay, so this will anyway will go, so again you will get 2 Si, isn't it? Okay, so when we make it to 0, okay, so you can either have lambda I is equals to 0 or Si is equals to 0, isn't it? Hello,
Yes, sir.
when we do the differentiation with respect to slack variables or the surplus variables, okay, so you will have you will get a term 2 Si into lambda I. Okay, if 2 goes, so for this to be true, either you can have lambda I as 0 or Si as 0. Okay, so when lambda I is equal to 0, okay, so what will be Si square? How will the constraint act? So let me put this question. Let us say Si is equals to 0. What does it mean?
So that it's already
It is
an equality constraint.
It is an inequality constraint, but
A strictly
because
equality
Si
constraint.
is becoming 0, what will happen to this constraint? This constraint will become a very active constraint. If Si is equals to 0, means the constraint is becoming, that particular constraint is becoming an equality constraint. Such type of constraints, okay, or we call it as the active constraints. That means it has to be satisfied, that equality has to be satisfied. Okay, what happens if lambda I is equals to 0? I can have Si need not be 0, isn't it? Hello,
yes, sir.
if lambda I is equals to 0, implies Si need not be 0. It can be 0, but it need not be 0. So then in such a situation, what will happen to the constraint? Like gi of x is what we have done is plus, let us say si square is less than or equal to 0. When this si becomes 0, this now we are making it equal to, no, this is actually original constraint is that the original constraint is gi of x is less than or equal to 0, but we are making it gi of x plus si square is equals to 0. If si becomes 0, what will happen to this? This becomes an equality constraint. That means this goes. So that means this constraint is very active. You cannot violate it. That means this equality you cannot violate. You have to satisfy that equality. So that's why this constraint is called an equality constraint. Suppose if lambda is 0, this need not be 0. If lambda is 0, si this need not be 0. So then what do we have here? That means we have some space to allow this constraint, okay, to be redundant. Okay, such type of constraints are called inactive constraints. Basically, at the optimal solution, this constraint may not be acting as active as other constraints where you have an equality. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Sir, but in like the part that you just erased, in which you wrote the values of I for del L by del SI, sir, why would K plus 1 to L be one of the ranges for SI? Because there, though, it's already an equality constraint, so SI won't be there.
Which one? Which one?
Sir, so you wrote that del L by del SI is equal to 0 for I is equal to J plus 1 to K and K plus 1 to L. So, sir, instead of K plus 1 to L, the portion of J to 1 to J should be included, right?
No, I think I have added SI squares only for inequality constraints, no?
Yes, sir. So the range will be 1 to J and J plus 1 to K, right?
Yes, that's what I have written.
So you wrote J plus 1 to K and K plus 1 to L.
K plus 1 to L, I have not added SI square, you see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so just wanted to confirm.
It should be 1 to K.
Which one 1 to K?
SI.
There will be SIs only from 1 to K.
Yes, sir. Yes,
correct.
sir.
You are correct. Because for these equality constraints, you don't have any SI because they have to be satisfied. Okay.
Yes,
for
sir.
these two, this 1 to J and J plus 1 to K, there only you will have SIs. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
So when you differentiate these two, okay, with respect to SIs, okay, you will get 2 times SI into lambda I, okay. When you differentiate these two constraints, when you differentiate the Lagrangian with respect to SIs, okay, you will get a term lambda I into 2SI which is equals to 0, isn't it?
Yes,
because
sir.
this is SI square, okay. So now because 2 into delta SI into delta I is equal to 0, either one can be 0, even then this will be satisfied, isn't it? Either lambda I is equals to 0 or SI is equals to 0, okay. So in this, out of these two possibilities, if lambda I is equals to 0, then SI need not be 0. If SI becomes 0, then what does it mean? In this,
It goes to the equality constraint
it
condition.
becomes an equality constraint. That means that constraint becomes very active. You cannot have a leverage to play upon SI. Okay. What about this? If lambda is 0, when lambda is 0, it need not be 0, SI, isn't it? So there we can have a leverage on this SI value. Such type of constraints where the lambda is become 0 are called inactive constraints. Okay, where SIs become 0, they are called active constraints. Okay, so when we take an example, we will just you will appreciate it, because when I am explaining this theory, it looks a little abstract. Okay, it becomes a little difficult to comprehend, but when we solve the problem, so then we can see which constraint is active and which constraint is not active. Okay, hello. So now if this is the case, then there are conditions. So this is the necessary condition. The sufficient conditions for this, okay, is given by what we call it as Cohen-Tucker conditions. How many of you heard these Cohen-Tucker conditions? Or is it, hello?
No, sir, we haven't heard that.
Okay, okay,
New
okay.
thing, sir.
It's a new thing. Okay, we will say that. So now the sufficient condition. Sufficient condition is that, so these are basically, these conditions are actually postulated by two people. Okay, so based on their name, they are very used. We call it them as Cohen-Tucker conditions. Okay, so this is for sufficient conditions. So they have given for both maximization and minimization. Okay. So for maximization, the Cohen-Tucker conditions are f of x should be a convex function. Should be a convex function. Okay, this is the first one. The second one is that gi of x, that means the inequality constraint less than or equal to constraints, gi of x, okay, should be a convex, should be convex for I going from 1 to j. That means all less than or equal to constraint, they should be convex. The third one is gi of x should be concave, should be convex. It means that it implies that, okay, let me, the lambda i's for 1 is equals to j should be greater than or equal to 0 for I going from 1 to j. Okay, so when you solve the, what is that, the first derivative, so the lambda I values which you get, okay, for those inequality constraints, the corresponding Lagrangian multipliers lambda I should be greater than or equal to 0. Otherwise, we should discard that. The third is gi of x should be convex, should be concave, should be concave for I is equals to j plus 1 to k. Okay, that means, which implies that lambda i's should be less than or equal to 0 for I going from j plus 1 to k. Okay. The fourth one, okay, is I will write here because I'm getting, or okay, I will reduce it. Fourth one I will write here. Okay. GI of x should be linear. GI of x should be linear for j, for I going from k plus 1 to L, which implies lambda I is unrestricted. That means it can either have positive values or negative values, is unrestricted for I going from k plus 1 to L. Okay, so this is for maximization. Similarly, we also have for minimization. For minimization, only thing which is different is the f of x should be a convex, a maximization. Sorry, for maximization, this should be concave. I'm sorry. This one. For minimization, f of x should be a convex function. Okay. And the other three remain same. That means g of x should be a convex function. These three actually they get repeated here. Same as for maximization. I'm not going to write. Is it clear? Hello? See, the theory behind this is beyond the scope of this course because it involves a lot of linear algebra and derivation of lot of theorems. Okay, so now let us take it as for granted. Okay, because in this course I cannot cover all these things. Okay, it's very mathematical. Okay, so we just take this as granted. Okay, that means if I can, so whatever x values, the lambda values and the sy values you get, okay, they should satisfy these Cohen-Tucker conditions. So if they satisfy, at that point you will have a local minima, local maxima or local minima. Otherwise we are not sure whether it will be a local minima or it will be a saddle point. We are not sure of. Okay, so now you can see the amount of complexity which we get if we keep using calculus, okay, for minimization and the maximization. So we'll take one example of this in the next class. Okay, so I will just because I have to solve that, okay, so that I can explain it to you better. Okay, so even though the minimization or the optimization using calculus, okay, is mathematically sound, but the main problem with this calculus methods is that, okay, the mathematics becomes much more complicated when the number of variables and the number of constraints is very large. Okay, let us say you can use this for problems where you have less number of constraints. Okay, but if the number of constraints is very high, okay, so solving this becomes much more cumbersome. Okay, What are the other situations where these calculus based methods may not apply, may not be applicable? Any idea? Hello? Where these
Where the
these
functions are not differentiable or something.
yes, exactly. So there are places where the function is not directly differentiable. Yes. What else? This is not differentiable, and also sometimes it is possible that it may not be analytically differentiable. You have to use numerical techniques to get the, even if it is differentiable, okay, so sometimes you have to use the numerical techniques to get those derivatives, or the first derivative or the second derivatives. Okay, have you done any numerical differentiation in your numerical methods course? Hello?
Sir, I have done
What
in the
is
previous
that?
semester.
Which one?
Numerical analysis.
Numerical. So how do you go about doing the numerical differentiation?
Convert it into the weak form and then solve by there are different finite scheme, explicit scheme, implicit scheme.
Yeah. So there are this basically, if the functions are not analytically differentiable, then also these techniques are become much more involved, and it becomes quite tough. Okay, so another is that if the function is anyway not differentiable, means it has discontinuities. Okay, so that's why even though the calculus based methods are even though they have a good mathematical background, but the problem with them is that for many of the real-time problems, okay, they cannot be used with ease. Okay, so people started thinking of developing much more versatile techniques for solving as compared to the calculus based methods. Okay, so one such methods which are very popular, okay, and this is
Excuse me, sir.
yes, tell me.
Sir, when you told that these are the sufficient conditions, so if these conditions are satisfied, we are sure that it will be a local maxima or minima, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, is there any condition for justifying whether it is a global maxima or not?
No, again you have to see the eigenvalues, Megul. Okay, eigenvalues of the function. Okay, then if they are the eigenvectors, the eigenvalues are positive and independent of that. Okay, independent of the decision variables, you will have a global minima or global maxima.
But then, sir, in the sufficient conditions, the first condition for maximization is that fx should be a concave function.
Yes.
So if the function is concave and I am getting a local minima, then will it not be
will it not be global minima, global maxima? Okay.
global
Because
minima?
it's concave. Concave. Yeah. I think you are correct. So if these conditions are satisfied, you will get the global values. Okay, but the only thing is sometimes it may not be possible that you will have a solution which satisfy all these conditions. Okay, in such conditions we cannot say. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, fine.
So now let us go to some other techniques, okay, which are used much more in practice, okay, as compared to these calculus based methods. Okay, so one such thing is called a linear programming. How many of you have read linear programming? Hello? Did anybody do linear programming in intermediate or in the first year maths or second year mathematics courses? No? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So basically linear programming is a very powerful technique, okay, to solve optimization problems. Okay, it is very for solving optimization problems in which the objective function is a linear function of decision variable. Of decision variables. That means if I write f of x, okay, where x is a vector of x1, x2, x3, xn, okay, so I can write if f of x is c1 x1 plus c2 x2 plus cn xn. So where you have a linear relationship between the function and the decision variables. Okay, so if and also the constraint, the second one is the constraints are also also linear functions of are also linear functions of decision variables. In such situations, linear programming is a very popular method, or what can I say, powerful method for solving. There is no need for us to resort to these calculus, okay, sufficiency, necessary conditions. You can directly solve. Okay, so basically a typical linear programming problem can be expressed as like this. Okay, we can write down like, we will take only maximization. Minimization also can be covered this. So let us say a typical linear programming problem can be written as programming formulation. We have maximize, f of x, or we also denote it by z, which is c1 x1 plus c2 x2 plus cn xn, subject to the constraints, okay, that a11 x1 plus a12 x2 plus a1n xn should be less than or equal to b1, a12 x2 plus a21 x1, sorry, a22 x2 plus a2n xn a2 x2. Okay, this is a typical. If you see here, the objective function z is a function of this, there c1, c2, cn, a11, a12, okay, they are all constants. Okay, So, and your objective function is a linear function of the decision variables. What are the decision variables here? Again, we have x1, x2, xn. These are the decision variables. And how many constraints are there here?
M.
There are m number of constraints. Okay. So I have given less than or equal to. Okay, this is the standard typical form. Even if you have greater than or equal to, you can always convert it that into this. Okay, so now we will start with this. Okay, and we can solve. How do we go about solving this? Okay, so we will take in the next class. Okay, so in the next class, first I will solve one. What is that? One problem on Cohen-Tucker conditions. Okay, how do we apply these conditions for calculus based? Then we will continue with the linear programming formulation. Okay, is clear?
Yes, sir.
So then we will be having in the next Monday. Okay. Okay.
So
Bye.
do we have a tutorial tomorrow?
Tomorrow, which is the day we have to take? Thursday. Means which we yesterday's. Okay. But tomorrow actually I have first year invigilation duty. Okay. I cannot take it. Exams are going on for the first year BTech students. Okay. So I'm involved in setting. So we will start from the next week. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I will upload the tutorials on the MS Teams. Okay. So how there are two batches, no? What is the timetable for these two batches?
So 11 to 12 on Wednesday and Thursday.
Both are 11 to 12, both on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Kirat, you can do one thing. Okay. Just you ask the students who prefer Wednesday slot and who prefer the Thursday slot. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you should be. I do not know how many students are there because still the list is not complete. Okay. Many students are still okay, changing their courses. Okay. Still the academic office has not given the full final list. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, according to my timetable, sir, MTech.
MTech, you can join any of you. It is not a problem. Whichever you feel comfortable, you join. You tell Kirat. Okay. So or you tell me. Okay. So I will take the attendance for you. Okay. So actually there are two tutorials. One will be handled by me and one by one new faculty has joined. One Vinarasi Rajendran. She is has joined our hydraulics discipline just a few months back. So she will be handling the other batch. Okay. So we do not know when she will take, but I will let you know on Monday. Okay. So and there is don't think that because she is new we should come to me or something. I am always available for you. Any doubts? Okay, you can ask me anytime. Okay, but see that 50% of the students come to my batch and 50 go there. Okay. Hello.
Okay, sir.
Because otherwise I may end up taking all the 60 students. I am heavily loaded this time. I am teaching 2 courses. Okay. Last semester's practicals also I have to take. Then all these things are there. Okay. Any doubt, I am available. Okay. You can ask in the class or you can ask me later also. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Bye.